Well, hello, hi, it was me, it was I, small town Didi, you're already on the internet. I am back, Gustav. Okay, Real Housewives of Durban. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. Real Housewives of Durban review, season 3, episode 10. I will always apologize, you guys know. Guys, literally the new episode went live today and I'm only recording the previous episode review because sometimes we'll be going through things, you guys. I managed to put on lip gloss today, so you already know I think I'm doing the world a favor, but it's been rough, okay? But we're down here, up on here, the internet today, and let's get into this review. We pick up where we left off, and that is Nonko going outside to meet up with Jojo to bring her in, which is odd because Jojo is the guest and she should have been in from get to welcome everybody in. But hey, I think they do things differently in the Tigwini. I'm just saying. Everybody looks cute. Walks in with Jojo, and as they're walking in, Jojo doesn't go over. I mean, she's already not hosting, right? It's clear at this point Jojo's not hosting these hoes. She doesn't go over to greet everybody, right? And then she's like, oh, she can hear Sarisha and Annie snickering in the corner there, they having little giggles, and they were. But as the host, aren't you to go up to them and be like, oh, hey guys, thank you so much for honoring my husband's invitation. So sorry I'm late, whatever held you up, which is nothing. But no, not our girl. She doesn't need to do all of that. She goes over to the section, the team that she's on, which is Dallas team. That's the name of their fighter. And they air kiss with Ruan and whatever, but she's standoffish for Maria. And then she sits at the far end with Nonko, and her body language is very telling. Like, she switched like her entire body really toward Nonko, sort of like half back to the rest of the ladies. Then she says to Nonko, yeah, I really think we're at a point where we figured out that those ladies are not for us. And I think she's talking about Sarisha and Annie and Slee on the other end because they are on the other team. Then they go to Slee says in a confessional that she doesn't feel hosted. I love Sarisha's peachy, champagne-y kind of, I don't know, her confessional look, which is odd, but I think I know why I love it though. The lace, it matches. That's how I like it. The lace works, but it's such a light color, you would think it would wash her out, but it doesn't. It lands quite well. I love that. They go to the locker room to give their boxers or fighters rather some motivation for the second half of the fight, and then they get back on. There was such good sports, all of them. They really got into it for what it is. The husbands up top seem to also be getting into it, except Maria's husband was just like looking at it like these hooligans, like these peasants. Like, he just had this look where I'm like, is he in it? Because Skada seems to get into it. Like, Skada's like having chats with Calvin, and he seems to be like enjoying the fights and stuff. But anyway, they say the fight is a draw, but then Dallas wants to retire, whatever, so he says no, he's gonna pass this on to Nkosi. Nkosi's the fighter for Slee and Sarisha, them the other side, the pink team. And so he hands over the belt to him and stuff. And it's quite a nice scene. It was a successful event in my opinion. And then we have Mbali. You guys, Mbali, because I've been like the 2 episodes where she wasn't here and I was like, I don't even miss her. Why is she in the credentials? Like in the opening thingies, and why does she get to be a full-timer? I was confused about Mbali, but seeing her confessionals, and she's the only one with a real storyline. It's only JoJo's 2nd season. We didn't really have a storyline for JoJo last season as well. What do we know about JoJo, you guys? What do we actually know about her? Mbali has a storyline. It's unfolding ever so slowly, yes, but she's giving in the confessionals, and she's also confrontational. I get it now. I get it. She had to find her footing, but she has, and I'm glad she's here. Mbali has her brothers come over. She's standing on top of the balcony with her much younger boyfriend or fiance. Bitch, who knows? Okay. There's a glass of wine that she has on like the balcony railing. It's driving me mad. I just feel like it's about to fall. It's sending me. Like, I don't know. I was like, oh, get it. Oh, it was making me so anxious. Her brother and her cousin come over and stuff. Well, if you're African and you were raised a particular way, you would know that we're very, like, we think the nuclear family is a scam because it's a fucking scam to advance capitalism, and we know this, right? Like, if everybody has one little family everywhere, then you all need one little TV everywhere, versus if you have like a multi-generational household and you're all living under this one roof, under whatever, then you have one great room and a big TV that you're watching. So like, the nuclear family is a joke. Like, literally, it's bored. I don't give a shit. It's a joke to us. My mom, for instance, was raised with her cousins. Like, they are her siblings. I see them as my aunts and uncle in the same manner that I see her siblings that her mom gave birth to, because that's just how we do, right? So whatever. And like, they've always disrespected this about us. Like, at work, when you have a family friend, when there's a family obligation, and they try to minimize it, like, yeah, but like, is he your brother? Is he the one that your mom... Some of us are closer to the same cousins than we are to the ones that, like, our moms gave birth to. But, you know, it doesn't fit their agenda. They're not even close with the people that they were born with. They put their parents in homes. Anyway, comes over. They're having this chat about her mom. There seems to be an issue of... contention around Mbali's paternity, and her mom doesn't seem to want to have the conversation. This is typical, and it makes it would, in where I come from, it happens a lot with the eldest child. It's probably the mom had the child earlier on in life, or something happened to her in her teen years or whatever, and it's traumatic. Like, your conception is rather traumatic for mom, and she doesn't want to revisit. She would rather carry on like it didn't happen. But Mbali's brother, who's there, she says it's her older brother. So I don't know what's going on around her paternity, but it's something that her mom doesn't want to address. She said in the past that her and her mom have like a little bit of turmoil. They have some friction in their relationship, so she needs a buffer to communicate and iron out certain things with her mom before her fiance's family comes through to try and, you know, ask for a hand in marriage. They need to iron those things out as a family. That's kind of nice and stuff, and she's asking for her brothers to, like, you know, take charge and try to get ahead of the issue and solve it for her and such things. Nice. Nonko and Jojo link up at the park, and Nonko's all like, oh my god, Jojo, you have the best life. And Jojo, I wish Jojo knew that. She moves like such an insecure brat that I wish she knew that she's arrived, and rest in it and be secure and not feel the need to shimmy up to the other rich girlies or the other girlies who, like, you know, married in the hypergamous fashion that she married, by way of throwing another woman under the bus. Because shimming up to them is a different story, but you did it by trying to paint Slee to be this other person, and it backfired. I wish she had confidence about, but she's like a new money kind of girl, you know. She reminds us that, you know, and now, I mean, I used to be the awkward girl. Isn't that her intro? But now I'm still awkward, but now I have money. I wish you knew that. I wish you believed you have the money. Jesus. But they chill must, oh yeah, Sarisha calls while they at this, their little meetup at the thing, and obviously, Nonko is making excuses for her again, like, yeah, I knew when you threw the drink in my eye or the water in my eye that you didn't mean to hurt me, and this and that and whatever. Sarisha calls to invite them to an SPCA event that she's hosting. And they were just talking about Sarisha before she rang them, and they were saying, oh, she acts so different when she's with the other ladies. And Nonko says to Jojo, well, they accuse me of the same thing. You know, they say I'm different when I'm not with you, and that we're childish. Like, oh my God, everybody's childlike at heart. That right there is how I know you bitches have a comprehension problem. Being childlike because we're doing whatever childlike, and being childish, not the same. You lack basic communication skills. You lack critical thinking skills. You cannot take accountability. You cannot break down things and digest them and try to come back with like a grown-up response. That's you being childish. Us wanting to get into a jumping castle and have a fun, light-hearted moment or do whatever fun thing, that's us like letting our inner child be. You're childish. Are we supposed to act like we're like 100 years old? A lot of us don't even live that long. You're so basic, tired. Ugh. Next. This episode did feel like a filler. A little bit of a filler for me. Sarisha goes out with her family. They go fishing in only the way that I assume rich people, like uber rich people go fishing, because bitch, I swear that was a yacht. Like they were out there and like Viv was telling his kids and all the places he worked and how the harbor works. It would be nice to have a present father with who's such a wealth of just the wealth of information of how things work, especially in the town that they live, because he's been there. I mean, he runs the businesses, he knows the circles, he knows how things move and stuff. It must be, that's how you get a leg up. It's not just even the money part, it's having somebody who went before you and did it first so you can avoid those pitfalls. As bitches who decided that we want to be entrepreneurs and went at it first, and we don't have somebody who's gonna hit, let me tell you what. Why do you guys think you didn't get your review on time? I'll leave it at that. Nice family day they had. How lovely. Maria hosts the girls. She hosts Sarisha, the ladies that haven't been to her home yet. She hosts Sarisha, Sane, Annie, and Slee. And they go over. Her home is beautiful. Really, her views are gorgeous. Annie says this as well. They were chilling. They make Sane's pouring the glass in the babi in the fashion that they say you're supposed to pour it. And they're like, oh, also professional and stuff. And Slee makes a joke that, you know, it's that catering thing. And they're able to laugh about it. That was such a cute moment. You know, Sane is just not the one, right? And she got to... Sane is somehow... Like, Jojo has done so much that we are forgetting the demon that is Sane. Like, do you guys see what's happening? Yeah, I see it with my eyes. These eyes. Sarisha, for whatever reason, is hell-bent and very invested in giving Sane a redemption arc. I really need to understand why she must give Sane this redemption story. She then says to the group, oh, you know, Sane and I actually met up and stuff, and you know, she let me know, Annie, that George has been talking about you and stuff, and you know, I can tell Annie is hurt. Annie and Jojo had a real friendship for me. They took a liking to each other and it seemed to work. It's just one is childish and one is fun. Like, Annie is a fun girl. Jojo is a child. Not the same, right? I can tell Annie's hurt by this, right? And she says, no, I saw the text messages and stuff, but I think the story will unfold as it goes on. Sanet then says, you know what, guys, like, I met up with Mbali. Mbali also let me know that Nonko's been saying some stuff about you guys, or said some stuff when she first met her about the group and stuff, to which Annie then says, that's typical Nonko. Like, Nonko, like, will say whatever. And then Slee's like, oh, please tell me, my friend. Now Sane is her friend. Please tell me what she said. And she said, oh, she said about you that you're broke and you borrow things from her. I hate bitches like this. Only because I take my friend's stuff all the time. I already take them. You know what? I'm the fat friend. Some of them just get by because I can't fit their shit. Like, honestly, I would borrow your shit. But like, your shit don't fit me. Some of my mates are skinny legends. Good on them. You know, must be lovely. That's another thing when you have body image issues. You notice people's skinniness. Like, I noticed things like how Sarisha was crossing her legs at the fighting club night thing. I always notice people's collarbones. Like, it's so... Oh, I would just like to live. Jeez. It's exhausting, guys. But she's like, no, I hate people like this. And then Annie confirms in the confessional that no, I've heard this too. She says it as well with the ladies that no, I heard this as well. Because Nonko told Jojo, and Jojo and Annie were like, you know, click tight. So the grapevine of it all, do you see? And then I picked this up though about Slee, that she's in a process of rebuilding and there should be strain there. That's natural and stuff, but she doesn't like that wording. Somebody else was like, oh, you're rebuilding your life, and she's saying she's financially overstretched. So what are you, living above your means or trying to maintain the lifestyle you had when you were with that wealthy man? What do you mean by this? I'm very confused. Really, I am. And then Annie holds her ground and says, you know what, I will not absolve you of your accountability. You said what you said when you were with them, whether or not they egged you on or made you say it or whatever. You're grown enough and you made your decision to say what you said about me. And this is that shit that has me liking and respecting Annie. And I suppose it's the shit about her that maybe to some people reads as arrogant and who does Annie think she is. I felt that way when she was making like Slee needs to audition for her friendship. That's how I felt. Like, who the fuck you thinking? But in this case, no, girl. You said something about me and you don't even know me like that. And you were saying it in a manner to put me down, right? I don't care if you said it because the other people made you say it. You're grown. You made the decision to say this. All right, great. And then we were seen with Annie and her husband and her kids, and they're talking about the fractured relationship with Jojo and stuff, and nothing really crazy happened in the scene. And then she talks about, no, she'll make her own way to go see the doctor that Jojo introduced her to. She will not call her. For what? Jojo and her husband then go to see said doctor in the next scene, and Calvin is getting, I think they're calling it harmonica or something, but it's something to tighten here. He's a good sport for this, not just for going, but for having it filmed as well. I feel like he'll do anything Jojo says to do. Calvin really is a good sport for this. I loved it. I want to see how it's gonna go. Like, I want to see if he sees, I would like an update if he's like, yeah, I see the changes, I like them, or what have you. But yeah, it's kind of cute. I like that. Slee gets home. There's a way that Slee says, oh, that's nice. That is not selling. It's not convincing. I am not sold. Slee goes home to her girls. She goes upstairs and Natilia is there. That's Nonko's daughter. And they let her know that, no, we've planned a little performance and I've invited my mom, Slee. Oh, your mom is coming here. That's nice. Like, bitch. No, it ain't. Nonko comes over. I can't remember if she had a bottle of wine in hand, but they ended up having wine. It's awkward. Slee and Nonko are there. It's awkward. The girls do a little performance. I loved this performance. They harmonize very well together. They're gonna grow into their voices. They're a bit nervous, you can tell. The cameras, as well as performing, for your parents and stuff. And Nonko and Slee are just beaming with pride, like they're so proud of their girls and stuff. It's really a good scene. Less the awkwardness, it's such a cute scene. And the girls then go with, then Slee says in her confessionals that, you know what, when I see the girls interact, I realize that Nonko and I must find a middle ground where we're not just cordial, but this tension isn't there when we're around each other. And then she says to Nonko that, you know what, there's some things we're gonna need to work through and we'll talk about it at a different stage, not now. I'm lost as to why it is they can't have the conversation right now. I don't know, are the kids still in the house and they don't want the kids to hear them maybe go back and forth? I don't know why they couldn't have hashed it out right there and then. But anyway, that's what happens. So throws her SPCA event, must be nice. Do you know, I had an incident some years ago. There was a kitten in my neighbor's yard. She had like this part of her yard that has trees and what have you. And there was a kitten. It was like cold and windy in the evening, and it was just crying out for help over days. And I was just like, no, the mama will come back. But the mama wasn't coming back. So eventually I had the little boy hand the kitten, and I called the SPCA, and they told me how they don't have resources to come to my location, which is code for we don't want the pets that come from over there. So things like this are for white people for me and privileged people. I love animals, really I do. I also just know that like people live in like real actual poverty where sure, have your dog fundraisers and it's nice and everything, but like these are the same people who act crazy when we want our higher education to be paid for by government so we can have a shot at life. It's usually the same crowd who ask us, why can't you just pay for your own school fees? So you'll excuse us if we don't give a shit about the fundraising for the dogs. And this comes from a dog lover. I just feel like we don't value human life. We don't value poor human life in particular. And the elevation of pet to human status in recent years, let's move. The ladies walk the pugs, Soricia's pugs, down the little ramp for her to address the crowd and what have you. Yeah. And yeah, she does her, I don't care guys. Who's this? Maria's on the side after everything is done and she's talking to, I'm so weirded out by, I don't get it guys. Maria's talking to Sunday and she's like, you know what, they don't even come sit by me, they're being odd. Ruan is especially hurtful because I don't know what his jive is, like why he's not receptive, like he's usually so like extra to like receive me and what have you. What is this, what's going on? She's confused. And then on the side we have Jojo talking to Ruan saying that she's going to close the WhatsApp group. I'm guessing the three of them have a WhatsApp group together. She's going to close the WhatsApp group because Maria's always with the other ladies. But in the first scene, we have her walking into scene and barely acknowledging Maria, saying that her only true friends are Ruan and Nonko, which makes no sense to me because when she was having her breakdown, Maria came after her, shushed and pushed the likes of Sane away so she can be the like Mary Magdalene of the situation if like we have Sane talent and comforting Jojo like a little baby, like oh my girl. In the morning when Jojo was fleeing the scene of the crime, you know, like a criminal in the night, she was the one who ran down to go see her off. And now Jojo somehow feels like Maria isn't her friend. Maria hasn't held her feet to the fire. She's played the game that is let's cuddle Jojo. Like how has Maria not been? I'll tell you what's going on here. Jojo requires the kind of blind, undying loyalty that Nonko gives her, right? She wants you to say you fight to the death for her, even though she won't fight to the death for you. She said that in the confessional, right? That's an expectation that she has of you. And I said in the last episode, I don't believe she'd bat this hard for Nonko, and Nonko's going the hardest. But I don't believe she'd ever go to bat for her like this. You know, and the other thing is that Ruan also lies for her. Ruan, I don't like Ruan. I can just say it. Ruan gives me an energy that I just, I don't like it. He made up stomach ulcers for her. Do you understand the level of friendship that she requires, right? Because anything else has her feeling insecure about the state of the relationship, right? Sorisha and Annie let Lee in and somehow that meant to her they don't want to be her friend. Like you can't be friends with multiple people. She must have all of your attention and you must not hold her accountable for anything and just be blindly loyal to her. Then you're a friend. Girl, fucking miss me with this. Sorisha then asked Jojo, hey, are you ready to then apologize for leaving us on the trip that you were meant to be hosting us on? And Jojo's like, no, she doesn't want to apologize. She's not sorry about that. She feels like the tensions were high and things were only going to escalate and that's why she left. But she is, you know, sorry about the state of the friendship, the fractures and everything. Bitch, what caused the fractures? if you're sorry about the state of the friend group, you need to trace the genesis of the fracture. And the genesis of it all is you, girl. You are the genesis of this. How are you sorry about this, but then not sorry about that? And as she's saying this, then Sane says, to Ruan, basically asking, do you feel you've been there for Maria? You know, and Ruan is like, yes, I have been there for Maria. Maria's the one who chose to not come sit by us today. I was so annoyed by this. Oh. At some point, Jojo's crying about nothing. Obviously, she's always crying. And then she then throws a grenade so that you guys are too distracted, like picking up the scraps and cleaning up the scene, to notice that she just evaded accountability yet again. My husband is going in for his second heart surgery and is that the same husband who was at fight night? And I'm not saying he's not going in for a heart surgery. I'm saying he can be going in for surgery and you can be an asshole and a fucking brat at the same time. None of these things are mutually exclusive. Like, you don't have to just be the one thing at once. Husband going in for surgery, an asshole, and a child at the same time. It's really just, it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated. You're all of these things. And then obviously they give her a way out, Maria, with that fucking bullshit again. Oh, come here. Fucking Slee. Oh, you're going through so much, but you're not sharing it. Sarisha's seeing through the whole thing because she's done this dance. She's done this dance with Jojo. And I think maybe that's why she's hell-bent on giving Sane a redemption arc, which I'm still not for. Because she feels like if we remove that, we can really get down to focusing on the fact that this little girl is a fucking brat. Because like Sane is really serving as a distraction. She really is. Anyway, Slee then pulls Sarisha aside and says, oh my god, I want to invite the ladies to the trip, but I don't think they'll honor the invite, so you need to invite them under the guise that the trip is yours and whatever. And Jojo's like, Sarisha's laughing like, just us or everybody else and whatever. Anyway, they're going on a trip next week, and that's how you know that production is paying for the trip. So if anybody else is still confused as to how the trips are financed and what have you, if overly stretched, what did she say? Financially overstretched. That's what she called herself, Slee. That Jada cheated on that man and called it an entanglement. My girls have a way with words. I have a crush on both of them. I must have a type. I just must have a type. But anyway, they have a trip coming up. But that's it. That's what happened. I don't know when I'm going to sit down to do the other episode. I fell off Real Housewives of Nairobi bad. I've fallen off Real Housewives of Abuja. I might be able to get back on the Nairobi because I actually enjoy the Nairobi girls. It's just life has been life in Yala. It really just has been. Thank you so much for sticking around though. Please do like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let your people know about me. Guys, can we just get me to 300? I really don't need more than that. I do. But like, you know, let's get me to 3. Mwah. Bye, Yala.